We're probably gonna need to edit all this. Yay! I believe we are live. I believe we are live. That's my assumption. All right, so we're gonna be talking since I'm assuming we are live. How everybody doing today? I hope you guys, everybody, having a great day out there. And the reason I'm doing this live is just because I just want to have a little conversation about what is the future of cars are going. Okay, if you're old school like me and you're thinking that at some point I want to have a vehicle that's performance, I want to go through the gears, and I want to modify my car, and I want to have something special. I have a feeling that, well, not a feeling, that stuff is dead. I'm sorry, but it's extinct. I have a couple of friends of mine who do not want to believe so. Okay, they're like, "No, I'm not buying an electric car. No, by golly, I will not have an electric car." And it's get over it. You need to get with the program. Speaking of getting with the program, here you go. There's a company, Kia. Kia is doing fantastic. Kia is a company that's reinventing itself from the symbol. I love the logo, the new logo they're going with, because the old logo looked really lame. The KIA, killed in action. They changed it to this really futuristic logo. Kia's doing fantastic. Those Korean companies are doing amazing. They're realizing they need to change and adapting, and they're just constantly staying hip. Basically, just same with the program, being new. And it's another one of their invention. Well, not an invention. It's just another one of the thing they're trying to do to stay alive and to stay relevant and to stay profitable is making specific vehicle. And that's one of them. Kia reveals a Niro Plus for the taxi and ride hauling market. It's very specific. Before I go any further, this article comes to us from Caleb Miller, and it's written by Caleb Miller. It's from Car and Driver. I have a link to this article in the description below. But what's going on is Kia is making specific cars for specific markets, and it almost sounds that why would you go specific when you're trying to be relevant? It's actually very clever. They're realizing that ride sharing is a thing and is going nowhere. And Kia is making cars specifically for that purpose. It's not the first time it happened. If you go to UK, they have literally cars designed, the cap, the black cap. They have it everywhere there. There is specific cars. It's not a new concept. But what's nice about it is the Kia Niro is going to have two options. One is going to be for, I don't want to use the word civilian, but it's the one you can regularly buy. And that's the one that's going to be basically have a hybrid. It's going to have an electric and have a gasoline engine. It's fantastic. Just whatever power plant you need is available. You can get along with it. And then they're going to have the one that's going to be specific for the cab. So the Kia Niro Plus is based on the first generation model of brand new hybrid and electric SUV. The Kia designed the Niro Plus around the requirement of taxi and ride hailing services. I like to call it ride sharing, but whatever, the ride sharing apps or hailing. Anyways, the Niro Plus is a part of the Kia expansion into purpose-built vehicles, which will see it create a dedicated platform for the segment in 2025. See, the numbers are 2025. Well, technically, what was it? 2025? Yeah, 2025 and 2030. Anyways, but that's Kia doing their own thing. I repeated 2025 at 2030 because by 2030 you're supposed to have every car manufacturer should I don't know who's gonna enforce it, but they should have a zero emission vehicle. Anyways, Kia previously stated it's an intent to become a leader in building purpose built vehicles. Again, Kia is not the only company that does that, but Kia is doing it in a more relevant market. Meaning, what do I mean by relevant market? Mercedes makes purpose-built vehicle. Toyota makes purpose-built vehicle. Ford makes purpose-built vehicles. It's not unique, but what is Kia doing is making, because the future of cars is changing. What we call a vehicle is changing. My parents, when I called a car, I don't know, buy a Mercedes when you want an expensive one. You get a Ford when you want to just get a regular car. Whatever. That whole concept is changing. Cars are becoming more and more and more one thing. Like, look at Tesla. Here you go. Here's your car. You get to go. As a battery-powered car, and you get to go. Just go ahead and drive it. Have a nice day. You don't have to do anything to it. They all look the same, and that's it. Cars are not becoming anymore that unique, hand-built, handcrafted. Everything right now is fast. Everything handles good. So cars at one point are really merging to become a one-purpose machine. What Kia is doing is saying that, okay, I know that, so I'm gonna make a specific car that's gonna be cheap. Again, the key is cheap. These cars are not expensive. They're gonna be a car that you can use and throw away, just like a shoe. No more car is gonna be, I'm gonna hold on to this car, I'm gonna pass it down to my kids. That's my Barracuda from, my great grandpa, and pass it down to my great 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 grandson. That's gone. That's gone. The whole idea of cars, if you're a car collector, sure, yeah, I mean, there's always collector. People collect Pokemon freaking cards. It's irrelevant. But the future of cars is going to be disposable, purpose-built vehicle. And here's the keyword, disposable. Don't worry too much about the battery. You get it with the battery, you use it, the battery goes bad. Hey, we always throw batteries all the time. Recycle them. I said throw, but I meant recycle. I hate when people throw batteries in the trash. Don't do so. Recycle them. Batteries are very toxic. So yeah, cars are going to be like that. You get it? It's a purpose-built car, and I'll show you a couple of pictures. It's very clever. I mean, it's not only a clever car, but again, this is the taxi cab vehicle. I'll read a little bit about it. The Niro Plus, that's the one we care about, arrives in two flavors, so-called general version and a taxi-specific model. Kia marketing the general version of the Niro Plus to private owners who can use it for many businesses and recreational purpose, including car hauling service. Kia writes, the non-taxi Niro Plus will be offered with all three of the Niro powertrain option: gasoline, electric hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and battery electric. I mean, look at all the options. You're getting a gasoline electric hybrid. That's going to give you the range, the quick fill up. You could, just keep moving. The plug-in hybrid, again, that's amazing. Plug-in hybrid and the battery electric, just battery. So you have everything. That car is gonna last for quite a bit in that configuration. And what's nice about it, it's not Kia's problem. What's gonna happen in the future as far as regulation from government saying that, we will only electric. We need that much MPG. They say, okay, sure, whatever. We just swap the powertrain. So that's very clever. Building structure, and will go on sale in certain market outside of Korea in the second half of this year. That's what we're talking about Niro Plus. Kia didn't specify the Niro Plus will come to the United States, though it plans soon to share some more details. I don't know why it's reminded me almost like in the 90s and 80s when Japan made cars and they don't bring it to the States, and now Korea doing the same thing, building cars and bring it to the state. One other video I mentioned about the van, have like a camper van that's amazing. I would say that the United States the Department of Transportation has specific rules on NTSB, National Transportation Safety Administration. They have their own rules as far as, car design, safety, MPG, and emission. But I always find it odd that the car meets the safeties of, Korea and Japan, but it doesn't meet the safety, or Europe, and doesn't meet the safety of the United States. I mean, those countries are no slouch, Europe and Asia, Japan and Korea, they have pretty high standards. So I'm not sure why it wouldn't come to the state. I mainly think it's usually not the fault of the vehicle, as long as it doesn't have a diesel. Because I know, emission with a diesel, we have a problem with it. But I think it has to do with sales. They look at the sales, they look at the market, they do market research, and they say, maybe it won't make that much money. I think that's the main reason. The dedicated taxi variant of Niro Plus will be offered exclusively as an electric vehicle. Again, very smart. In order to create a Niro Plus, Kia stretched the body of the first-gen Niro it's based on by nearly half an inch and raised the roof by 3.1 inches. I'm sorry, every time I see the word Nero, all I can imagine Nero who burned Rome. But anyways, if you don't know what that is, Google it, you should know. Thinner seats and door cards in the taxi version offer the Niro Plus additional interior room, while both variant can be had with door reflectors and handles mounted to the B pillar. Let's show a picture of this right here. That's the B pillar, because it looks like letter B. I mean, if you look at the sideways, B, like laid that way, it's B pillar. That's the door handle. That's very clever. Again, I love the interior. Ride sharing, that's the future. Once again, I believe that's the future. It's just people are not going to be owning cars. You're not going to own cars in the future. You're just going to have subscriptions, just like you have subscription to your favorite movie streaming, data streaming. You have subscription. And in that subscription, you have a car. And you're like, okay, I want my car right now. You beep, and your car will show up. That's what I believe. Or you're just gonna have it until the subscription is over. So I really believe so. Ownership of vehicles become completely irrelevant. And I'm talking about down the line. And in my my generation, when I'm old, man, I'm barely talking. That's what's gonna be. It's not gonna be anybody driving, 6 speed and yeah, look at my very loud car that has 200 horsepower, 300 horsepower, and it'll be a very quiet car having 1,000 just flying by you, and that guy's gonna have air conditioning on, or that individual is gonna have AC and he's relaxing, and or she or whatever, and they're just happy. While we're gonna be sweating and changing gear and double clutching, and oh, look at me hitting the apex. That's dead. Not saying motorsport is dead, but it truly is. Driving on road is dead. Motorsport is a different subject I don't want to talk about. That's a whole new stream. Anyway, the Niro Plus joins a single-seat van version of the Korea exclusive race city car in Kia's lineup of purpose-built vehicle, while these first two entities are based on existing Kias. The company is developing a platform specifically for its purpose-built vehicle program. The first vehicle in this architecture is due in 2025. Yeah, the future of cars, everybody, that's the future right there. The future of cars, you're not going to own them. They're going to be specifically built for a specific task. Not saying we don't have that. You can go right now to your dealership and find a van. Literally, all stripped out Ford van and just has a driver's seat. Yeah, they have stuff like that, but go ahead and buy it. These are not built for that purpose. These are really built for what I believe the next step is going to be. Subscription. You go to Kia and you subscribe, and Kia goes, okay, this is what you do for a living. Whatever, you work for no ride-sharing companies, and part of the subscription, you get one of those vehicles ready to go. At some point, they're going to be merging. All these companies going to merge together under one platform. As far as if you're working for that company, they're going to provide you that car that has some kind of relationship with the company, and you just show up to work and your car is available and you just continue working. That's my belief. As far as the commute, all these cars eventually going to get to that point where they're all electric, they're all intelligent, they're all just daisy chain, follow each other on the freeway. That's the future we're going. It's going to be it's going to be definitely localized in suburban areas. It's not going to be definitely not out there in the middle of nowhere. I don't think so. Not yet. I still think there's a place for a car, a gasoline car. I still think there's a place for it. I don't believe that gas is running out. No one out there dug into the middle of the earth and said, well, he goes, oh, we're running out of oil. I'm digging. There's nothing coming out. No, there is. There's just this whole movement. Not trying to get all political, but the whole movement that's happening, it's it's helping. It's becoming it's inducing this whole trend that, okay, we need to go to alternative energy. It's acceptable. It's completely acceptable. It's part of evolution. It's part of moving forward. Of course, you can't just sit on your butt all day long and just expect things to change, So understandable. Now, as far as pollution, pollution is a different thing. Remember when I mentioned the battery? People throwing away the batteries. Well, if you're throwing away your battery, you're adding a lot of pollution, okay? A lot. Let's see if you can find chat. Okay, there you go. So again, pollution to me is a different story than, cars. Do cars pollute? And of course they do. A combustion engine definitely pollutes. Absolutely, it does pollute. But there's other factors in the world that combine for pollution. If you look at the ocean being filthy, that's also pollution. So the word pollution is very general, and I do agree humans pollute. They pollute the planet. I travel a lot. I go in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, what's that plastic bag doing here? Hey, I'm in the middle of an island, in the middle of the Pacific, in the middle of nowhere, and I'm diving, and I get out. I'm like, whoa, Coca-Cola? Where did that come from? So, yeah, I totally agree that we need a solution for energy, definitely, instead of the whole fossil fuel. My answer is nuclear. I like nuclear power. Nuclear power is amazing, okay? As a chemist, I love nuclear power. as well. My minor was in physics, but I love nuclear power. But obviously, we cannot have a nuclear propulsion in those vehicles. So electricity is fine. Batteries, we still having issue with battery. The weight of battery, you cannot physically. We're working on it. We're working over here. We're trying to make it work. We're trying to have batteries that are kind of light, they're not heavy. But in the meantime, I don't know. It's very, very exciting times we're in. This is something that I haven't dealt with. My parents haven't dealt with. My grandparents. Nobody. We are on the cusp of something amazing. I really almost say it's kind of close when we went to the moon in the 60s. It's kind of really close to that point. Where are we going with this? Because looking at it, okay, Kia is being smart. And as I said, like other companies are doing, so they're making specific cars for specific use. And that's intelligent because they're saying, okay, take this car. You're a cab driver, right? Okay, you just have my car. You need a car, right? Here's the car. But at the same time, are we all going to be driving... We're going to be hauling batteries? Batteries are heavy. Batteries work in a little RC car, but because but in those big cars, I don't know yet. If you see other videos I made where we talked about, are we going to be swapping batteries in China? I don't want to be able to swap batteries. Just go like you're changing your oil in about 10, 15 minutes. You get a fresh battery and you have another 300-mile range or what have you, 250, 300. But in the state, we don't want to have that. I don't know why. China's pushing for that, and China there's a lot of people buying cars in China, and China, mainly all the batteries are made in China. So China has some kind of monopoly as far as in the direction of that decision is going. I don't know. Are we going to have two cars? One car is being charged, another car we use, and when that car depleted, we use the other car. I don't know. We are still trying to figure it out. And going back to the beginning of my stream when I said, my friends were... Well, I have two friends that are completely against electric cars. Like, no, by golly, electric bad. And to them, I just say, okay, let's see what happens. I like to think of myself as, I love cars. I disassembled cars, I built cars, I love cars, and I love mechanical things in general. And I look at, for example. Okay, this is going off subject, but that's fine. It's the stream. How are we doing on time? Well, we're good. My Miata, I stripped it apart. I put it back together, and I'm talking about every bolt. Okay, I'm talking about the gas pedal. I took it apart, and I sandblasted it. I painted it. Everything. And after assembling the whole car, and that took 2 years. It didn't happen overnight. Okay, anybody? And when you watch those shows and people say, "I worked on my car, I finished it in a week," it's baloney. That's a big pile of baloney. Okay, if you really want to see someone who's professionally doing these things, watch Jay Leno's Garage. That gentleman he's a scholar, but really watch his show. See how long it takes to repair a car of his collection, and it's usually years. Okay, and years, not 2 years. It takes a long time to restore a car. So, but that kind of gives you appreciation of the mechanical value of the car and how much energy and how much work. And honestly, if you zoom out when you build a car, and if you zoom out after all the time you spent on it building, and you zoom out and you look at it and you think, and you look at a Tesla parked next to you, and I'm just keep using Tesla as an electric car, but any other electric car parked next to you, I think there was a Leaf. My neighbor had a Leaf, Nissan Leaf. You start to realize, no, my neighbor right now, to change the Leaf, he has the BMW one, the little small one, the X3. I don't know, something. Anyway, no, it's not an X3, i3 or 3i, whatever. I look at my Miata, and after I finished it, and I look at the i3, and I'm thinking, there's so much inefficiency in the Miata. There's so many wires, so many hoses. There's a lot of things in it, and it pretty much is a big heater. That's what it does. It mainly generates heat and some propulsion. Makes a lot of noise. It's fairly toxic. I mean, I was wearing gloves, man. I was wearing all this. Do not work on your car with your bare hands, with your knuckles. Don't do that. Everything in that car is like literally toxic. So, I had to clean and, make sure nothing drips on, because it's toxic. I have a pet. I don't want, walking around, get his paws dirty in the garage. So, long story short, you start to think to yourself that, man, if I could have just literally got a Tesla engine, put it in there, and some batteries, and I've been good to go. The engine bay was much cleaner, just one moving part. You can't really look at the concept of electricity without that positive look at it. That it's really simple. All that noise and all that energy, all that toxic stuff is gone. We don't need it anymore. It truly is like clean. And I'm not mean clean as in like, oh, tree hugging, hippie. No, I'm being honest as from my perspective. Right? When you put things together and then you look at it, and you're like, okay, my Miata is good, but it burns oil. Even if it's brand new, it's still going to burn oil. It burns gasoline, which is toxic. The exhaust smell is toxic. Every time I start, I have to open the garage door, of course, right? I don't want to die. So yeah, internal combustion engine is not really all that. It really isn't. It's great if you are, in the middle of Amazonian jungle and you're operating some kind of a, I don't know, some kind of like a elevator or something. You're operating some. You basically want power in the middle of nowhere. Or do you want to move something really heavy, right? You're operating a crane in the middle of Sahara Desert. Yeah, absolutely. Or Sahara Desert, you have access to the sun. But I'm just saying, let's just say you don't have access to solar power. You can't beat the amount of energy you get in a cup of gasoline. You just cannot beat that. The energy in there, weight to energy output is fantastic. That's why we were using it, diesel and electric power, gasoline power. But the electric motor is very, very clean. I mean, the electric motor is running on battery, it's extremely clean. Electric motor running on diesel, it's not so clean. You ever seen Das Boot? It's very toxic. And batteries are not really all that. As long as they're sealed and they're happy and the battery's happy and it's in usual lifespan, the battery is happy. But when a battery moves out of that, so I don't know. I don't know. I think these car companies right now, they're all trying to reinvent themselves. And I keep mentioning Kia. I think Kia is being really smart. The future of Kia, I think, is great. If you own stock in that company, good for you. I think Kia changing their emblem, making cars that moved up, making their car a little more classy. They're making their cars more. They're listening. Well, they're not listening, but they have their ear to the ground. They're kind of thinking, okay, what's the future? What's the future? And they're responding to it. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen in 20. I seriously have no idea what's gonna happen in 2030. I really don't know. In 2025, we know the next LA Auto Show. When I go, I'll definitely bring everybody with me. I'm gonna have my camera and I'll show you what I see. I'll try to go to different auto shows. The LA Auto Show obviously is here in LA in California, and that's usually the last one of the year. Due to the chip shortage, a lot of car manufacturers are promising things that are unable to deliver because the supply chain. So that stuff is gonna iron out. Things are getting better from what we were past. We're passing that whole COVID situation. So it's really exciting times we're in. The future is gonna be, as I said, in my opinion, subscription-based cars. I truly believe in that. Let's see how that statement ages throughout time because it's being recorded. But I really do believe it's going to be subscription. And I'm not talking about lease. I'm talking about subscription. Lease is you respond to mileage. No. Subscription is just unlimited miles, just like when you do with your phone. You pay a monthly fee. Your car is there. When you're done with it, return it, get a new one. And that's really going to cut down on a lot of jobs because, and I don't know what they're going to do with the older cars because they're electrical, right? So what's going to happen is they're going to refurbish it, change the battery. I don't know, or recycle it. Maybe that's the option. It's going to be recycling. Speaking of recycling, when you hold on to an old car, you actually, if you hold on to it, is that green? I mean, is that better for the environment, holding on to the old cars and getting a new car? Because building a car is not really all that environmentally friendly. A lot of car manufacturers are trying to make manufacturing cars with a zero carbon print, but we're not at that stage yet. So again, I believe the future of cars is going to be that subscription based. gasoline power, it's gonna fade out. Not because we're not gonna have enough gasoline to dig from the earth. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of oil. It's still a lot of oil. We don't grasp the magnitude how long we've been alive on planet Earth, right? Because we're humans, right? We think like, oh, 1920s, 1930s. We have no concept of the planet. So what is it, 4.2 billion years old? We are unable to fathom that number. Humans, we're good at like, hey, it's 10 meters away, 100 meters away. We're not good at understanding, it's 10,000 mile, or like, well, you might get 10,000 mile. Let's say you're in the Navy and you kind of understand like, okay, 10,000 nautical miles. Well, if I tell you about like 1.2 light years away, you boo. 150, 600,000 miles. We don't understand these large numbers. In the same concept, we don't understand really days. And what I'm trying to get to, like, okay, what are you trying to say, Eddie? What I'm trying to get to is life been happening on planet Earth for a long time. And through this billion of years, a lot of life forms decomposed, and that's how you get oil. Okay, you can Google the whole concept. Okay, you could research it, but it's a very simple concept. Things died, things decompose, pressure and heat, and that's how we get oil. Okay, and pretty much oil is this energy of the sun. Everything comes from the sun. The sun energy just constantly being trapped and reconfigured. If you want to say, it's been distilled into the nectar that we call it oil. Now, humans have been around digging for the scrap for let's just say, let's give you 200 years. It says, 200 years we've been digging, getting oil, and nom. And just all that carbon is exiting to the atmosphere, and obviously we're using the energy to propel and the energy creating heat. So, and that's why we have the high carbon in the atmosphere. But the high carbon atmosphere was there at some point. That's how life trapped it, plant trapped it, and but that's a different subject. What I'm trying to say is that's a lot of oil. Oil is gone. There's a lot of oil. We just don't, you have to dig for it. And, there was some obvious areas, but long story short, Shell, British Petroleum, they're not saying, oh my God, we're out of business. Okay, everybody, we're closing doors. Sorry, we're out of stock. They're not saying that. What's going on is a movement to say, okay, we don't want to pollute. We want cars not to make that much pollution, as if it's the only thing polluting the world is cars. Cars are definitely polluters. Same as factories are manufactured. A lot of things are pollute. So moving to electric, I don't know. I really don't know what the answer is, because I was thinking hydrogen. Hydrogen is not as efficient. Manufacturing hydrogen is not efficient, but if you have a nuclear power plant, you can make hydrogen. But I guess we, America, and I'm really starting to realize this, really what happened in California affects the world. If you want to know what's going to happen in your neck of the woods, look at Cali, and literally it's almost like a wave. The repercussion from what happens in Cali eventually moves its way into the whole United States, from the United States broadcast to Europe, from Europe broadcast to the world. That's how I think. I kind of saw a pattern like that, and I think Tesla was really, that Elon Musk, he love him or hate him, but he truly made an impact on the future. It really did. And his impact is still growing. The Tesla, everybody stopped buying Tesla, just like the hype was with the Prius when the Toyota made the Prius, and everybody and all the celebrities, oh, I'm gonna buy a Prius to save the world, la. The Tesla was literally, he made cars for, how best way to say it? He made cars for nerds. Nerds don't even care about cars. And he's like, here's your car. You can do 100 miles an hour like that. Faster than all the GTRs and Skylines and Supras and muscle cars and Charger and Barracudas and whatever. That's what Elon Musk did. And I think he's a troll, in my opinion, honestly. It really is. He's just trolling all of us. But he went on and he made the electric car. And that electric car right now is becoming everybody's looking like, okay, so what are we supposed to do? Ooh, electric car. And he's like, yeah, there you go. I have an electric car. Why don't you buy him? They're amazing. They're fast. Go buy them. And that's where we at now. Now, does Kia hold the same, I'm really fast, I make super fast electric cars as Tesla? No. Tesla has an advantage because for my other video, I explained that Tesla sells a lot of the credit, zero emission vehicle credit. The car manufacturers that manufacture internal combustion engine obviously get no credit for the internal combustion engine only. They only get credit if they're making vehicle that makes zero emission, fully electric. And to be able to sell cars in the United States, you need to have a certain amount of credit. Now, if your company doesn't manufacture it, you can buy it. So Tesla sells these things. That's how Tesla makes money. Alongside Bitcoins and whatnot. But Kia since they make gasoline engine, they have to balance their gasoline engine with zero emission engine, and then that's why they start making electric cars. So what's gonna happen in the future? Is all gonna be electric? Okay, how's the battery going? I don't know. I think there's a lot of smart people working on the solution, making batteries more compact, more dense, maybe more eco-friendly. I don't know. Only time will tell. I'm not holding the answer to the future. I don't have I don't believe in that. Like I'm making things up. So all I can tell you is that car manufacturers going all in electrical, all in. So my friends who were, my two friends who were like, oh, no gasoline only. Nah. All the energy, all this brains, all the smart people think going toward electric now. Until that electric fails, then we don't know. But I don't think it's going to fail. I don't think electricity is going to fail. I think electricity is going to be there. And we'll see. As far as gasoline prices, I think gasoline is still going to be an option, but gas prices is going to go off top of the roof. I feel really bad for people who are just going to be holding on to their gasoline car for the next 10, 15 years because gas price is going to be so expensive, and you're going to be forced to only drive it when you need it. You're not going to commute with it. You're going to go to alternative commuting, which might be something like this that comes through a ride-sharing app. You get a plan for commuting. You get a commuting plan saying, okay, I work from 9 to 5. I live here. I need to go to work and come back home in this time. And you just subscribe to that. And every day that car is going to be outside waiting for you. Something like that. As far as the gas prices, I think they're still going to be high. They're not going to go low. I don't think they're going to get to that point where people are going to revolt. I don't think gas prices are going to go to $20 a gallon. I think they're going to stay high. They're going to say like $7 or something like that, $6. They're going to stay high. They're not going to go low. Because the option is going to be, well, why don't you buy the electric car? There's government incentive to buy it. And the government's giving a lot of money to car manufacturers to make electric cars. And the government is going to be giving you, the buyer, some tax credit. Maybe your state or a combination of federal and local state. And again, that could be whatever your neck of the woods you live at. It could be definitely in Europe, might be doing so. England, since they left Europe. England, and whatever neck of the woods you are, Romania, I don't know, anywhere, they're probably going to have incentive to do so. Again, just keep an eye on what's happening here. It will affect you where you live, if you in Japan, whatnot. It's definitely is going to be what happened here will trickle its way to the world, and for good or for bad. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap up this stream. Thanks you for watching, and hey, let's try to make. I'm gonna try to make more of these live streams. I do enjoy them, and I do go off topic, so bear with me a little bit. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching. Where's the mouse? There's the mouse. As always, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, and I'll have this. The stream will be uploaded obviously on the YouTube channel, so you could watch the replay if you haven't seen it live. And when am I make the next live one? It's probably around the same time. We'll see. Probably like noon Pacific Standard Time. And as always, thanks, and I'll see you next time. Oh, then don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below as always. Hi, bye bye. See ya.